Hello everyone, this is Joe here from Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Updates, and today I'm going to give you the first in part of my concept deck series. Basically, this is where I present to you one of my decks, which are usually kind of non-competitive. I'm not really a competitive player, but I enjoy making decks which have a certain theme or vibe about them, and hope to give you some ideas of how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe a different way, in a fun way, and similarly, hopefully you can take some ideas from this, and if you have ideas for how to improve my deck, because a lot of these have been very stale, they haven't changed much over the past few years, then definitely let me know in the comments and I will take them on board and see if I can revamp these decks. So here what we have is a kind of, well, I originally called it some kind of Dark World Eye deck. The idea behind it was that you specifically target cards and in your opponent's deck and shut them down and shut them off. So you'll see what I mean as I go through, and we're going to combine that with a kind of Dark World theme. So it's all about targeting the hand. So we have one Rainbow Overlord of Dark World. It's not actually particularly brilliant, but it's in there because I have it. Grapha is a much more usable Dark World boss, because when it's discarded by a card effect, I can actually use it to destroy a card. We have two copies of Stygian Street Patrol, kind of, well, it used to be a staple in in Fiend decks, and it means that if I am stuck for monsters, I can banish it from the graveyard to get monsters back. One of the cards that's absolutely brilliant in this deck, as with older Dark World decks, is Fabled Raven. This is one of my ways I can discard cards from my own hand, and it also, of course, is a tuner monster, so it gives me access to the Synchro deck. I won't be featuring Synchros or XEs unless they're specifically part of the deck, but I mean, the basic ones are out there. The basic staples. We have one secret copy of Snow, Unlight of the Dark World. On to some originals here. In fact, there is an actual what's the EN Elemental Energy copy of Gold, but we have two copies of Gold Woolord of Dark World. Only two copies of Brow. I do need to get a third. This one is the kind of draw engine, so when it's discarded, you get to draw a card. And then a bit of a twist. And I'm aware that I'm missing Chaos cards from this deck. That would really make it kind of good. But I try to avoid that. I have three copies of Shining Angel, and we'll see why. They go well with the Fabled Raven. Two copies of Lucent, one of the best Dark World cards that were released. And then two copies of Ceremonial Bell. So the idea here is to try and get Ceremonial Bell onto the field you special summon it with Shining Angel when it's the last attacker, switch it to defense, and then you and your opponent have to play with your hands revealed. And then from there you are able to specifically target cards to take them out. We've got three copies of Prohibition to do so you can literally say any card that your opponent has and they can't play it. So if they've been unlucky, you can take out 2 or 3 cards at a time with it. 3 copies of Drag Down into the Grave, which when you can see your opponent's hand is beautiful to play around. 2 copies of DD Designator, which is similar to Prohibition. Well, it's more similar to Mind Crush actually. Basically, target 1 card in your opponent's hand and remove it from play if you call it right. 2 copies of Dark World Dealings, obviously very good in the Dark World engine, and 2 copies of the Gates of the Dark World, their field spell. So we've got quite a lot of drawing power here. 1 copy of MST, which may or may not. Yeah, that's kind of old school now. I think Twin Twisters has taken over. Onto the traps. We've got 2 viruses. We've got Eradicator Epidemic Virus. We can quite easily, with the field spell, get a Lucent that's powerful enough. gold, which can be powerful enough to use Eradicator Epidemic. Deck Devastation can be played quite regularly as well. And you then give you the chance to look at your opponent's cards as well, so it's similar to the theme. 2 copies of Cloak and Dagger, which are again like Prohibition. Sometimes these are overkill, if I'm honest. Maybe I should swap these out to make the deck run smoother, sorry. The Eye of Truth, old school Yugi card, used in his Battle City, used in the Duelist Kingdom duel against Kaiba, and that again lets you see your opponent's hand. Sinister Yorishiro, which basically lets me summon my high-level Dark World monsters without attributing, because sometimes they can get clogged in the hand if you can't discard them. And of course, 1 copy of Mind Crush. So yeah, that's how the deck works. Let me know in the comment section if you have any thoughts about it, if you like it, if you think there can be improvements made. And yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'm sure we'll bring you some new decks very shortly.